Welcome to Hannity. And tonight, the Biden White House is imploding. The blame game, the finger pointing is in full gear after a disastrous 10 months, to say the least, in office. Joe and Kamala Harris are now turning on each other. It's getting very ugly. Coming up, we'll bring you the very latest infighting out of the Biden White House. Plus, we're going to play you the lowlights from what was another awkward and embarrassing day for the cognitively struggling president and, of course, his incompetent vice president. But first, we begin with our top story tonight. That is Kenosha, Wisconsin. Today, we heard closing arguments in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, but not before the judge threw out one of the charges. Now, Judge Bruce Schrader dismissed a misdemeanor gun charge, quote, possession of a dangerous weapon by a minor, because according to Wisconsin state law, the rule only applies to certain guns, those with a short barrel. Rittenhouse was carrying a long rifle. It's just the latest embarrassing setback for prosecutors who have been absolutely atrocious from beginning to end. In his final pitch to jurors, the lead prosecutor, Thomas Binger, referred to the rioters in Kenosha as a crowd full of heroes. Okay, the heroes that were chasing Kyle down the street and ready to pound his head into the pavement, those guys? Now, Binger was then bizarrely announced that in America, a person loses the right to self-defense when they have a gun. That is not true. Take a look.
They have to convince you that Joseph Rosenbaum was going to take that gun and use it on the defendant because they know you can't claim self-defense against an unarmed man like this. You lose the right to self-defense when you're the one who brought the gun, when you're the one creating the danger, when you're the one provoking other people.
None of which was proven in this court of law. And the interesting thing is, you have one case where you had their key witness admitting on the stand that he pointed a loaded gun at Kyle Rittenhouse before Kyle fired back. Another example with eyewitnesses of somebody trying to rip the gun out of his hands, and of course somebody about to put his foot into his face, into the pavement. Now, this might be the single worst legal take in the history of any trial, and it gets, even worse. At one point, for whatever reason, Binger held up the rifle used by Kyle Rittenhouse. He put his finger on the trigger and pointed it at those sitting in the courtroom. Binger obviously doesn't know a single thing about gun safety or self-defense or the rule of law. Rule number one, sir, is you never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, point a gun, loaded or unloaded, at anyone, even under any circumstances, unless you plan to use it in self-defense. Now the verdict is in the hands of the jury, but let's not lose sight of how we got here. For several days in August of 2020, the city of Kenosha in Wisconsin, they experienced a massive wave of violence, arson, looting, vandalism, assault, a complete breakdown of law and order, all because of a lie that was pushed by the Democrats and, of course, their allies, the media mob, who falsely claimed that an unarmed African-American man named Jacob Blake was murdered by the police. In fact, Jacob Blake was armed with a knife. He fought with the police, and he refused to drop his knife as officers were attempting to arrest him for sexual assault charges. But the left, they don't care about facts, they don't care about the law, they don't care about the truth. For them, the narrative is much more important than truth. So, of course, they didn't lose sleep over the riots that followed. And, by the way, where's Liz Cheney? She's not lecturing the country on the Constitution. Liz, where's a commission looking into all those 500-plus riots in the summer of 2020? The riots that killed dozens of Americans, injured thousands of cops pelted with bricks, rocks, bottles, and Molotov cocktails. I have yet to hear you call for a commission or lecture everybody on the rule of law and the Constitution. You know, these are the riots that Kamala Harris promoted a bail fund for some of the rioters. Oh, that's right. It doesn't advance your real agenda, which is to purge Donald Trump and all things Donald Trump from the Republican Party, as you now are with your new best friends, the people that called your father a liar, a crook, and a murderer. Hope you enjoy your new company. The same Democrats that never bother to look at video evidence or talk to eyewitnesses or collect facts. They rush to judgment time and time again in order to score cheap political points. They did the same thing in Ferguson, Missouri. Remember, hands up, don't shoot, Michael Brown, Officer Darren Wilson. We had numerous eyewitnesses that corroborated his story. Same thing in Baltimore, Freddie Gray. Trayvon Martin case. They did the same thing with, the Cambridge police, the Duke lacrosse case. Remember that case? The UVA rape case, the Richard Jewell case. More recently, Nicholas Sandmann, the 16-year-old slandered day in and day out by the media mob for wearing a MAGA hat. One lie after another told about that young man. And don't forget the dirty Russian bought and paid for Hillary Clinton dossier. Now, Trump haters breathlessly pushed this Russia conspiracy theory, this lie, this hoax, this narrative for 5 long years, and none of it was true. And the dossier's main source was just charged with lying to the FBI. Another source was a Democratic operative with, guess what, close ties to the Clinton campaign. It was so bad, to their credit, the Washington Post, they are the only ones to date that publicly redacted and retracted their own reporting on the dirty dossier. They can't stand by it. What about everybody else? The conspiracy theorist, the ever-so-loved Rachel Maddow at MSDNC, she had the moral courage to admit she was wrong. She lied to her audience. Neither do any of her colleagues at MSDNC or her friends at Fake News CNN, the New York Times, all 3 broadcast networks. They lied to this country, to you, the American people, for years. By the way, in every one of these cases we've mentioned, we got it right. We didn't rush to judgment, and we got the facts. And we, of course, corroborated the sources that gave us the information before bringing it to you. And now the same thing is playing out all over again in the case of Kyle Rittenhouse. Last year, during the campaign, Joe Biden himself referring to Rittenhouse as a, quote, white supremacist. Last week, House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries tweeted, quote, lock up Kyle Rittenhouse and just throw away the key. Multiple media outlets referring to Rittenhouse as a vigilante. Woke ice cream company Ben & Jerry's tweeting the Rittenhouse trial displays yet again that our justice system is racist. How would this trial be going if he was a black 17-year-old that crossed state lines illegally carrying an AR-15 and shot 3 white protesters? We need real justice in the legal system. This isn't it. One fake news journalist took it a step further, tweeting, well, if you're defending Kyle Rittenhouse, you must be a white supremacist. Think about it. Powerful politicians, powerful media figures, ignoring key evidence, rushing to judgment as usual. Oh, did I mention, of course, the case of Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh or Clarence Thomas or Richard Jewell or any of these examples? In this case, in order to destroy a 17-year-old, now 18-year-old young man, all because of their political agenda. And by the way, any unrest that follows will be their fault. That's right, Joe Biden, it will be your fault, just like it's your fault anything that happens to any American in the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan that you abandoned. Hakeem Jeffries, you will be at fault. All of you in the media mob, it will be your fault. And everyone and anyone that rushed to judgment, as per usual, the same cast of characters, those of you that created an expectation among the public based on a set of lies with zero evidence, zero due process, zero presumption of innocence. This is why we have these things. The rule of law is so critically important. And of course, the left doesn't care about any of this. It's just yet another reminder why most Democrats, most members of the media mob, you cannot trust them. And most people don't trust them. President Reagan once famously said, if fascism ever comes to America, it will come in the name of liberalism.